Welcome to Bigfoot Society, and I'm Jeremiah Byron. Tonight's episode is a continuation of some recent interviews I've done over on the TikTok platform. These are raw and very much unexpected. They're from all corners of the U.S. and all corners of the world, things that we really haven't broached yet in the topic of Bigfoot. So pretty intense. Buckle up for these ones. I think you're really going to enjoy them. And again, listen with an open mind. Enjoy.
Let's see. Memers is wanting to come up.
Hi,
Hey, how's it going?
it's going.
Awesome. Did you have anything to share tonight?
Yes, actually, like I was born in Burma, so which is like Southeast Asia, but like the northern part of Burma is like close towards Himalaya. So we have a bunch of Yeti legends.
And wow, real quick, do you mind if I potentially use this audio for my Bigfoot podcast?
Sure, I don't mind. This was when I was a kid. Well, I haven't lived in Burma in forever because my parents moved here. But
Sure.
like this was when we were on our ski trip when I was a kid. And like, Burma, if you like Google a map, it's on the Southeast Asia. It's like southern part is towards the Andaman Sea, towards the Indian Ocean, but northern part is attached to the Himalayan mountains. So like if you go to the most northern part of like the Kachin state and stuff, like where that's where all the snow-capped mountains are or whatever. And then a lot of tourists come for like, like the mountain climbings and stuff like that. But I went there as I was a kid, and we were like in this like it's not like Airbnb per se, but it's like we rented this house and it was like a mountain view towards the, like the snow-capped mountains or whatever. And then it comes with like the like a binoculars or something like that, right? Like so we can see from our location up to the mountains with this binoculars. And then like not me, but like my family was staying at this bungalow, and then we were like, looking at this binoculars up to the mountains, and then like all of a sudden my dad goes like, who is this guy walking up the mountains? And then like everybody was like, a guy walking up the mountain, because it's like it's this snow-capped mountain. You can just go up in the mountains covered in snow, just barefoot and by yourself. So we were like looking at it, and all of a sudden the guide, not the guide, but like the local came over and like look at the binoculars, and they was like, well, definitely that's not a guy. Well, that's,
Oh, wow.
but we didn't know. We have no, like, we didn't know. We were from the southern part. We didn't know, like, we didn't even put two and two together, like, because it's not, for us, it's like, Yeti is just a legend, like something you see in Disney movie, yeah? Like, it's, so we were like, my dad, for me, it's like, it was like memorable because my dad was saying like, who's this guy walking up the mountain? And then like, everybody was like, what? And then we look up, and then like, we were like, oh, so like the local came over and like, well, yeah, that's not a guy. he was like, well, if you think about it, that mountain is like probably maybe half a mile from the bungalow or like the Airbnb that we were in, and you can see that whatever that like bipedal person thing like walking up the mountain with nothing on it, just like no backpack. Like, why would you go up a snow-capped mountain with just nothing on it?
Absolutely. It doesn't make sense at all. Did your dad say anything about how tall it looked or what color it
Yeah, and then
was?
all of a sudden adults were like, what is it? Like, and then we were like, I was just a kid, and we were like, I didn't know. It looked like a dude walking up for me, like that's what I saw. And then I forgot it, like that was years ago. For this, like I'm in my 30s now. That was maybe 15 years ago, and and then, and then like adults were freaking out about it, and I didn't pay no mind to it. But then like now I'm thinking about it, and then like I saw like Expedition Unknown with Josh Gates. I don't know if you
Yep.
if
Oh, yeah.
you yeah, and then there was this like almost exact same footage that they saw, and I was like, that's what I saw.
Oh, wow. What year would you say this was
This would
approximately?
be like 2000s.
Okay, gotcha. And so you saw it yourself then as well,
Yeah, I saw it, but then I was a kid. All I saw
right?
was like the dude walking. It's literally looked like a dude walking up the wall of the mountain, if it makes sense. But like, it's a barren snowscape, like there's no way a hiker would have gone up there. There's literally nothing there.
Yeah, absolutely. Could you tell if it was a certain color at all, or just was it too far
Um,
away to get
well,
details?
it kind of looked like it was reflecting off of the snow, so it's like whitish, but
Okay.
like it kind of almost looked like the person was wearing a like a fur coat.
Uh-huh.
But when you think about it, it looks, because when we the next because the locals show us the picture of them during the summertime around that vicinity, and then there's like a tree or the like a rock that was like right next to this whatever person looking thing that was walking up the wall, and it was he was literally, he or she or it or whatever was like definitely bigger than what a normal human being was from
Wow.
where
Wow.
we
How
were looking
much
at.
how much taller would you guess it was than
So
the other
the
people?
person we were talking, the photograph, the picture we saw with the guy that was there, and then say if he was maybe about 5 foot 8, 9 ish, that thing that was walking up the wall was definitely a foot or two bigger than that.
Mm,
So yeah, he that, and then the speed, that was the one that I noticed, because you know how hard it is to walk in the snow,
sure.
and this whatever just walk up, like tread up and hike up the mountain like it's nothing. It was just like walking in a park kind of thing, like yeah, just walking up, no
How
stumbling, no nothing.
sure. Have you seen anything else move with the same speed that you saw it move that day?
uh no.
Okay, so it was very quick.
It was fast, and then
Wow.
because the next day we walked up to that, not that area, but like around the vicinity, and like by the when we gauge like wherever that creature was, it was like way up high. It's like higher than we thought it was gonna be, you know.
Mm,
It was not an easy, what do you call it, like easy path for a human to
right, right.
like even if we were to walk up there, that snow would have been our like waist or like chest high, is what I'm
Fascinating.
saying. Like for that creature, it was like maybe like thigh high, and then it just walking through, like it was like just summer day, a stroll in a like. So it's kind of like, if you think about it now, like I forgot about this encounter and I rewatched it the other day. Not that I rewatched it. I watched the Expedition Unknown and I saw the footage, and I was telling my husband, I was like, I saw that. I saw that.
That's amazing. That is so cool how
So
certain
I've
things
been
will
wanting
jog
to
your
tell
memory.
somebody about this, but I couldn't tell anybody because people would think I'm crazy. But this is a Bigfoot society, so I feel like
That's
I'm
right.
safe here.
It's the perfect space for it, and I'm glad you did share it. So, would you also, have you heard any other stories from that area of the Yeti as well?
Um, so funny story, because I live in Kentucky now.
Okay,
So Appalachia, yeah.
sure.
But The funny part is not about Bigfoot per se, but like dogmen and stuff, or like the, something that rhyme with Finn Talker ish.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yep.
I don't want to say it because it's
I
night,
get it. Right.
but we do have in the Asia, like Southeast Asia, like similar stories.
Of Dogman or of the other one?
Any of the shape shifting creature per se.
Really? Oh wow.
Yes,
I
because
didn't know that.
I thought like whenever I came here and I read about these stuffs and research about this stuff, and I was like, how is that like 8,000 miles away in the remote Asian country have the same lore as like something we see over here? I feel like it's like you got somewhere in the like far history, somebody might have seen the same thing. That's why they have the legend, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's kind of, I feel like, for example, like in Appalachia, you don't whistle at night. Yeah, you don't whistle.
That's the story. Yep.
You don't whistle at night.
Mhm.
Same thing we were taught when we were younger in Burma. Like, so my dad's from like, he's from the state between like Burma and Thai. So like it's like mountain, like rainforest area. Same
Sure.
law. You don't whistle at night. If you
wild.
if you see something, you didn't.
You
If
didn't
you
see
heard something,
Yep.
you didn't. It's the same exact thing. So which I'm getting chills talking about it. Like why is the legends the same? It's 8,000 miles apart, So it's got to be somewhere in there. The truth must be in there somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. Man, I'm so glad that you came up and that you were able to share what you experienced that day. And just thank you so much for coming up.
No problem.
All right. Hopefully, maybe even talk to you again someday. But have a great rest of your night, ma'am.
You too. Bye.
Wow, good stuff. First time talking to someone about the Yeti in that area. Very, very cool. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Good.
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Do you have anything to share today?
Oh, I sure do.
Awesome. Before we get going, do you mind if I potentially use this for my Bigfoot podcast?
Yes, you can. You can.
All
I've been
right.
on podcast on Rumble a few times discussing what I've been working on with these discoveries.
Cool. Well, yeah. What do you have to share today, Chris?
Well, in New Jersey, it's called the Garden State, where the four
Yes.
rivers flow into the Raritan Bay. Okay? The four rivers.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot in 30 miles west of New York City. You see my profile picture?
Yes.
That's in the roadways of
Okay.
Roxbury Township. That was founded on December 24th, 1740, in District 25, where the 107-mile canal system goes from the Delaware River to New York City. That was refurbished and got working again, 1825 to 1832. So in that area, there's these massive mounds and giant artifacts and tombs, and I believe it all relates to Sasquatch, because this is the stories of these giants, right? They were, and the last of the Battle of the Giants happened like in 1674 in the Mississippi. So they were still around at the time. So these stories, I believe, are all related to the ancient giants and prehistoric ones that were living here in America, that were these mound builders. And I found 21 of their giant skeletons that were dug up in 1960 by George Washington's Hospital and Arsenal, right along the edge of the Pyramid Roadway, and right in Roxbury, and they were reburied.
So you found them, or you found documentation about them?
No, I found them. I have the. You want to see the headstone? You want to see the? I have all the documentation. I have a book coming out, National Treasures
wow.
and 7 Curses of Oak Island Mystery Solved.
That's awesome.
Because
this
the
is
back of
in
the dollar
New
bill is the
Jersey?
actual map written up in 1782. So back to the giants.
Okay.
Abraham Lincoln spoke in his speech in 1848. Do you know about his speech?
Yeah, it was a quote regarding the giants, correct?
Yes, and the mounds of America filled with giant bones. Because where I believe there's presidents and all these Civil War soldiers are buried with these giants. Below oaks planted in the form of a horse in Roxbury Township, New Jersey, under the bottom pyramid on the back of the dollar bill in the big letter E. There's 3 pyramids. The bottom pyramid has a secret letter M, And these are giant burial mounds. And I can have the LiDAR map if you want to see the mound, what it looks like from space. I have all the documentation. I've got artifacts, you name it. It's truly amazing. And there's been a lot here in America, and I believe it all relates to the Sasquatch stories that they turned into them to distract you from the real giants that lived here.
Wow. So your book has to do about the Sasquatch connection with the giants as well?
Yeah, because when I had drilled into a tunnel system on December 14th, 2022, it took me 4 nights to dig down secretly on these really evil people's property where there was a robbery that took place in 2007. And that contractor, he was unalived. Okay. The seventh man was unalived. So when
Right.
I dug down in there, just before I drilled through, after 4 hours of hammer drilling to try to get through 8 inches of concrete to see what's below this slab that parallels between the oak trees, I had all these black shadows show up between the oak trees. And they were big, like Sasquatch big, right? And they were going between the trees. I'm telling you, I'm not a crazy guy. Going between the trees. And I had to stand up, put my arms out, say, look, I come as a protector. I need to see what's here so we can be preserved. And they all disappeared. And then like 10 minutes later, I popped through the hole.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's really wild. And then I had these spirits before I even found this site, before I found this tunnel system. There was these two big bears that showed up and climbed all these oak trees. And then they went down, and then I went inside and went back out with my dog. And then my dog followed where the bears went, and they opened up the massive cistine tank for a drainage system for the Oak Island Pirate treasure tombs.
So when you went in there, you actually found skeletons then?
Yeah, the 21 giant skeletons. There's a newspaper article from 1960 where they did archaeology dig. New York State, New Jersey has a little quotation in their archaeology discovery process thing online. And then they reburied them right behind the church, which was the original first meeting house. And in 1853, they built the first Presbyterian church. And then they dug up these 21 Lenni Lenape. Now it's Lenape. The name is already in there, the ape name, because the artifacts are all that ape face. Very big
Oh,
artifacts.
wow.
They all have the carvings of apes, and then they have the evolution. There are so many massive carvings of dinosaurs and dragons and horses and saber-tooth tigers and snakes and everything you can think of.
This is in New Jersey?
This is at the top of the pyramid, on top of the pyramid on Mooney Mountain.
Where's that?
It's 30 miles west of New York City. That sits on top of Mooney Mountain. It's where
Oh my goodness.
it's called the Veterans Park. It's Mooney Mountain is a massive mountain mound with so many entrances going in from these prehistoric giants, and there's billions of artifacts. Go down the road to the other park in Wharton, New Jersey. It's called the Wharton Canal Park. There's an 880-foot high mountain mound with a canal system, an ancient roadway along the edge of it, drops down 20 feet to the canal system, and then drops down another 20 feet to the river system with a quarter-mile megalithic wall around the edge of it. And on the backside is these giant carved heads of monkey faces and people that were like Olmec.
Whoa. Have you reached out to the guys with Blurry Creatures podcast yet?
No, I haven't.
I would really, really recommend that you do, because they and their audience would totally, totally love this.
Because I can show you. Let me just pull up a picture. I want to just show you like one of the Olmec heads, just so you know that I'm not I'm not BSing you, because this is really amazing information. And then, well, before we get there, I want to just show you this, what the giants did to Long Island. That's the coastline of Long Island into the face of a giant. Okay. And then the burial mounds are in the eyeball area where Avalon Park is, and Mount Sinai.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, there's a Mount Sinai there. And Mount Sinai Road, up on top of Mount Sinai Road, there's 9 burial mounds that make the Big Dipper. 3 of them were bulldozed in 1991, and they put a war memorial there.
This is some wild stuff. You
And
gotta
then by
talk
the
with the
Tesla
Blurry
Science
Creatures
Center,
guys.
there's 5 mounds, 5 massive figure mounds that make the Little Dipper. And right by the Tesla coil was, and they put the RCA communication tower there from 1922 to 1979 on top of everything.
Man, Chris, wow. When does your book come out?
I'm working on it. I'm getting there, and
Okay.
I'd say about 60 days, 45 days. I'm working hard on the man.
Wow.
There's so much because
Yep.
this whole discovery has with the spiritual journey of with Abraham Lincoln and George Washington. Because when I was a child, I used to go to this meeting house on the Land of Make-Believe property in Hope, New Jersey, by Blairstown, where they filmed the Friday the 13th movie by Crystal Lake. There's a
Okay.
meeting house up in the woods where we used to go for 4th of July picnics as a child, because my ancestor
My goodness.
grandfather was commissioned by Washington to be the first consul of India, and they have the Benjamin Joy Awards every year at the U.S. embassies. And my genealogy sits at the Library of Congress. It's over 700 pages long, the Joy genealogy.
Chris, this is some wild stuff. Can you remind us again of what the book's name is going to be so we can keep an eye out
Well,
for
it's
it?
about the Oak Island mystery and the national treasures, right? Because the back of the dollar bill,
Right.
I'll show you the map that was written up. Now, this is amazing. The information that's in your pocket and everyone's pocket around the world was written up in 1782 after 6 attempts. Now, the 6 attempts is important because those are 6 men, I believe, are below the hilltop. It was printed in 1935. Who was president in 1935?
No idea. I'm terrible.
Franklin D. Roosevelt, that had an expedition to Oak Island at age
FDR.
27 in 1909.
Oh, okay. Really?
Because Oak Island is a baby mammoth figure island, and the eyeball is where the treasure pit is. Because all of the eyeballs of the islands is where the ancient giant burial sites are. Eye of the Phoenix, secrets of the dollar bill, brother.
Chris, this is interesting stuff. I feel like this could be a longer conversation. Can you reach out to me at Bigfoot Society gmail.com? I want to see if I can get you connected to my friends over
Yeah,
at
I will.
Blurry
And I just want to
Creatures.
show you one of these big faces that are along the side of the
Absolutely.
hillside, and they're really
Oh,
big.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, and
Wow.
there's a massive entrance there that's closed off, and it was untouched. Now, Lincoln set this park aside, and then there's piles of artifacts for hundreds of feet on each side going into the entrance of the biggest crystal chopping heads and spearheads and artifacts you've ever seen in your life.
This is fascinating. Oh, man, I'm so glad you came up, Chris. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
up
you.
and
I'll
for
send you
sharing a little
a
bit.
message. You said Bigfoot
Please do.
Societies
Yeah, Bigfoot Society at gmail.com.
at
Yep.
gmail.com, because I
Got
believe
it,
the
sir.
link between Bigfoot and the stories that they told us are actually the ancient giants that were living here, right? That were wiped out in about 1674 on the Mississippi, the last battle, because the hunter-gatherers are the ones that wiped out all the mound builders of America.
Love it. I love this, man. Thank you so much for coming up. We will be in
Thank you for
touch for
having
sure,
me.
man.
And anytime
You
you
got
want
it.
to talk, I'm more than happy to share some really important information. And then, there's massive giant serpent carvings too. You want to see the giant serpent heads?
All right, one more before
I'll
we
show
let you
you
go.
one more,
All right.
one more, one
All
more.
right.
This one's up on top of the mountain. Now there's 3 Magonite mountains, a pure black
Oh
Magonite
my
that
goodness.
surround the valley. And these 3 mountains on top of them have these massive carvings. Let me just pull up my snake carving here. Here he is right here. They have
Oh, wow.
carvings
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this on top of the mountains. And then at the top of the mountain is also the phoenix bird and giant turtle carvings. And you name it, it's all up there, bro.
I love it, Chris. Yeah, we're definitely going to be in touch, but thank you so much for coming up, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Man, Chris dropping the knowledge. I love it. All right. Hello, Frank. Hello,
Jeremiah,
Frank, my guy. How are you?
my dude, what is up, man? Long time no see.
Hey, for sure. You're cool if I use this audio potentially for the podcast, right?
Man, you know I'm cool. I've been on since I
I
was
know.
on your podcast in a first time in TikTok. You started going live after I shared my encounter with Kerry Arnold. Then, dude, I got, of course, with Bigfoot believers and other creatures. Now it's
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
66,000 people in a private group
Such a
about.
good group.
It's crazy, man. I'm so humbled to be a part of it. Just popping in here and hearing about giants. These people are like rock stars to me. You know what I mean? Ron Moorhead, M.K. Davis, you now are at every meeting. You've met so many people. Congratulations, man,
It's
on
just
on
it's
your
just fun
career
to
and
hang
how
out with people. You know, I
it is.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And he was talking about giants like the Seechikai, man, and learning about their battle with the Paiutes and what went on, and everything MK found in that cave, and seeing Ron Moorhead, he flew in there by himself, and him and MK are, I mean, these guys are not bluffing, they're not hoaxing. I mean, it's ludicrous to think it. you know. But anyway, I'm just excited, man. I seen you on. I was like, man, I've got to say something to Jeremiah. Uh, uh, the Giants, guys, are still here. If you got, any interest in Giants, if you don't know M.K. Davis and his work with the Redhead Giants, the Bloodlock, check out his YouTube along with Jeremiah and everybody else. Or join Bigfoot Believers and Other Creatures. We're all in it.
Absolutely.
Jeremiah posts all the
Oh, yeah.
time, bro. I know we're not able to answer like when you post in Messenger, but hey, I promise you, I'm always one of the ones liking it because, Anyway, man. Yeah, I started. I finally shared my divine intervention. At a time of being alive or not alive, or someone's life or mine, I had Archangel Michael manifested himself there, and it was just I never told anybody, but I shared it, with some people that I met with Daryl Denton, that introduced me to, and this is all connected, guys, and there's so much more after this, and the supernatural part of the Sasquatch. I haven't figured it out yet, but I do know with 100% certainty. But I do know this: they have abilities that allow them to move so fast and camouflage and blend in so well that I know it looks like they are going in and out of trees. I've got a friend, Lanita Bryant. She's got things on her property that are Sasquatch, but they're totally not what I've seen. You know Lanita, right?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, man.
It's something there, y'all, and I'm gonna tell you, it's all going to be connected. Like these energy orbs, and Sasquatch seem to be synonymous. And I'm a flesh and blood guy, because what I seen was definitely a young male. I found out later seeking his own territory. Might have got kicked out of his clan. He's ready to start his own clan, during my encounter. But I've learned so much more, we're connected. And I'm just glad people like you are still doing this for a safe place for people to share without worrying about being bullied and ridiculed. And, you're part of the old school, man, that started this whole thing, like with Kerry Arnold and Duke Sullivan. And when it comes to Giants, Duke Sullivan, M.K. Davis, I got to brag. Me and him are following each other now, man. I'm not kidding. It might have been. This has just been any rock star following me except MK. Right?
Yeah, it's wild. It's just a bunch of people that are trying to find the truth and how it's all connected and what's going on with Bigfoot. I appreciate you coming on and
man, me too,
and
Jeremiah.
chatting for a little bit.
I can't wait to talk to you and see you later, Jeremiah. And talk to you later, brother. Good to see you,
Yes,
Jeremiah.
sir. You have a good one, man. Hey, Sasquatch 24, how's it going? Hello? Hi, sir. Anyone there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How's it going?
It's going good. How about you?
Awesome. Do you have any Bigfoot encounters to share tonight?
I've had a few things happen up in northern Minnesota when I grew up deer hunting. I can't say they were
awesome.
They weren't sightings.
Before we get going, do you mind if I potentially use this audio for a Bigfoot podcast I have?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about what you experienced over the years in Minnesota.
There's actually been a number of times. I'm a bull hunter, and I grew up in a small town called LaPorte, which is just south of Bemidji. It's in north central Minnesota. And lots and lots of times I would be heading out to my bull stand, or I'd be in my bull stand, and that odor everyone talks about, like carrying like dead flesh or dead animals, came across that numerous times. I'm maybe, a half a dozen, 10 times over 10 years. And it seemed like when that happened, it was absolutely disgusting. And the woods were pretty quiet. I actually looked for the dead animal more than once. Never did find anything, and I didn't see anything, but at that time too, I never put any connection together to Bigfoot. 'Cause I just didn't know what it was, but it happened often enough where it was. I was wondering if somebody was poaching deer and leaving them lay and rot, and I just couldn't figure it out. But oddly enough, there was there was somebody up the road. I don't know this person's name, and they were somewhat reclusive, but they did through the grapevine. They told some locals. I only graduated with 16 kids. This was a small town, so word travels fast that one of the guys, he wasn't a native because we were right on the edge of the Leech Lake Indian reservation, but we weren't on the reservation, just off of it. And they talked about sightings occasionally, not frequently. When I was younger and I would hear stuff, but you just kind of took it with a grain of salt. But the more I listened to your podcast and listened to people talking about that strong, stinky odor, I think back now how many times that happened to me. And it was amazing, where I actually got out of my stand and I would go looking around. What is this? What stinks so bad? And
Oh,
I
wow.
never saw anything. Yep. So pretty weird.
That is extremely weird. I mean, there's some squatchy stuff that happens up there, dude, for sure.
Yeah, I believe it. I do. I haven't seen one, but I certainly do. Um, I haven't had any reason not to believe it. I
Absolutely.
I don't think all of these people are lying. I just don't believe that. And when I was in the service too, stationed all over the U.S., out in a lot of Fort Jackson, Fort Ord, out in the Mojave Desert. There were times when I would come across that odor again, even in other states. Missouri was a big one, and I just, we were down in the Ozarks, and I just thought, something's dead and rotting around here, but you never found it, you never saw it or came across it, and so it was always really odd to me. But now that I'm older and I listen to these podcasts and stuff, I kind of put two and two together, and it's like, maybe something was there. And I don't remember either if I shot deer on them days or not. I really don't, because it was so long ago. But I do remember numerous times going home and telling my dad, man, something is dead out there. It just stinks. And he just says, oh, yeah, it's probably a dead deer, and just kind of blew it off. But it's funny how many times you hear this from people, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of the common things that you do hear among people that have had an experience or a sighting, something like that, where there is a very very strange odor. But man, if you ever experience anything else, feel free to reach out as well. I'd love to hear from you again regarding that. But
Yeah,
thank you
I
for
sure
coming
will.
up and for sharing, dude.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, Rodney.
Hello.
Hey, do you have something to share tonight regarding Bigfoot encounter? Or
Yeah, I do.
cool. Before we get going, do you mind if I potentially use this audio for my Bigfoot podcast I have?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, feel free to share what it is that you came up for.
All right. Well, this happened in Oklahoma at Port Gibson Lake. They're on Ranger Creek. It's a spot that I hunt a lot and fish. And anyways, one evening I was fishing the cove, and I heard something on the other side of the cove, up on top of the hill, and I thought it was a deer, like a big buck. So I squatted down because it's coming down the hill, and it took about 10 minutes for it to get down, but when it did, the hill that came down was so steep that you got to hold on to trees, because if you break loose, lose your footing, you're going down into the water. But this thing went down the hill, and man, it's like 6 or 7 feet tall, and it squatted down on this rock down at the at the water line,
on a bank, and it cupped its hands to get a drink of water. And it done that twice. And after the second time it got a drink, I swear it looked over at me, and that's when I took off running. I was about 15 years old then.
That's incredible. So you got a good look at it for sure.
Oh, yeah, it was only about 40 yards from me.
Oh my goodness. You said 6 to 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Wow. And did you get a good look at its face at all, or?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it had
What?
it had a wide mouth on it. And its eyes were about, I would compare its eyes, the size of its eyeballs, to the size of a horse.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember what color hair it had?
It was blackish brown.
Were you able to see any details about the what the nose looked like, or the mouth at all? Anything like that? I know it was really quick.
Man, it just looked like what you usually see when you see a picture of Bigfoot.
Gotcha.
It looked pretty much like that.
So it went down to scoop the water and then to drink it, you
Yeah,
said?
this was in the evening time. It was right dark in this bank. Because I fished the bank that it came down and hunted it. Like I said, it's so steep for a human. I got to hold on, hang on to trees to keep from sliding down. This thing went down at like nothing. And it's almost dark.
Would you hear any weird sounds or anything else out of the ordinary in that area where you had that sighting?
Well, before I seen him, after he came down the hill, before that, a rock came bouncing down the hill into the water. Done that
Yep.
twice.
What size rock would you say?
Probably about the size of a baseball, maybe.
Okay. Yep. Are there other accounts of people having encounters around that Fort Gibson Lake that you know of?
I've talked to another guy that's seen something like that there in Holbert. It's a town right next to where I was.
Do you remember any details about what it was that he saw or his encounter, or just that he had a sighting?
Yes, I don't remember the details on it.
Gotcha. No problem. Well, wow, Rodney, is that anything where you would want to see what you saw that day again, or did it shake you up pretty bad?
Well, then I was 15. It shook me up.
Yeah.
And at the time when I first seen it, I really didn't know what I was looking at. And I really still don't know what I was looking at. It's the only thing I could think of that is a Bigfoot after all I've seen. But I'd like to see it again at an older age. I'm more curious about them now.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you were able to come up and share what happened to you that day in the Fort Gibson Lake area of Oklahoma. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. And
Yep.
feel free to reach out if you have any other experiences in the future as well.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We're gonna try Hammer again here. See if we can bring him up. Hey, Hammer. I think we were having some issues last time. How's it going?
Going good. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you have something to share about a Bigfoot encounter or something that happened over in Iraq?
There's a lot that I can't. There's a lot that I can't tell because we still haven't been declassified.
Yeah, and before we get started,
and who I'm with, I'm not going to really elaborate. But I was with
absolutely. Before we get, I
with
apologize,
Special
sir.
Operations Command.
Before we get started, do you mind if I potentially use this audio for
Go
a
ahead.
Bigfoot podcast I have?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
All right. Feel free to continue, sir. Sorry for interrupting.
We were we had special interest in the eastern province of Iraq. It's a place called Kirkuk, and it's very remote. I'm talking, you get there and you feel like this is the place that God forgot. And it's mountain range, a lot of rock, caves, stuff like that. And we had heard some buzz between the battalions and stuff, but we never really thought about it until we were out there. And I'm just going to start off by saying, I don't know if you know, but these have horns. Okay, I'm talking like a bull, not kind of stick straight out from the head, but more the shape, more to the contour of the skull, and like a water buffalo, how they sweep down, come out, and then the hooks come out. Looks more like a water buffalo with that definitely separation right at the forehead, where you can see the horns take their separate ways, and there's hair, and the hair, and it's almost like a black blue. It's weird. It's real weird. And we saw these things about dusk. And the only reason we knew they were there is because they let us know. And we were setting up a small camp. And I mean, literally like you'd camp out on the side of a tank. We were sitting there having a small meet up and smoke and what have you. And these love rocks, man. And we're sitting there and a rock come flinging past one of our heads. And I'm talking close. And the sharpshooter was in the back. He said, "Hey, man, I just spotted two of them on the mountain." And we turned around, and you could see these things moving. And I'd have to say they were anywhere from 6'4" to maybe 6'10". And they were moving ungodly. I've never seen anything like this in my life. And it's like they had considerable different, around their horns where their hair was, there was almost like a line of hair that went around the face that was highlighted, and it was white. And it faded into black. It was like they had this weird, like, styration around their face of white hair, and then a little bit of white around the cowl of their head, man, like where the fur would be. There was like a ridge of white shading. And I mean, the smell, I heard him talk about a smell. These things smelled like a real heavy duty musk smell. And what, have you ever smelled like rotten fruit? Something like that has a real pungent tone, like, rotten tomatoes
Sure.
and stuff mixed with a musk. I don't know if anybody's ever been deer hunting, but if you've ever, field dressed a deer and hit the scent sack, it's pretty raunchy. And it was real heavy and real thick. I mean, to the point that it would burn up in your nose. And I figured they were pretty close to us, but the way they moved, man, that's what bothered me. It was almost like they were talking to each other. You could tell there was a chatter. They were definitely chattering amongst each other. And it's like they were giving each other calls like we do ourselves, and it's like they were moving as one and moving and throwing. And the sharpshooter goes, "I've got one trained." And he said, "I'm taking a shot." And he didn't hit him, but he zinged him. And I saw the fur part. I saw the bullet hit it. I didn't see anything come out. I don't know if it's like excessively thick. And their hair seemed very, very thick. I'm talking about to the point that you probably couldn't have touched his skin. You couldn't have sifted through his hair and got to his skin. It seemed like it was that thick. They went over the mountain range, tossed another rock. It hit kind of close to us, but I figured it was like a save and throw, just get away from us type. When they went over the ridge, they were gone. And we had two men that were close to where they went out at. And he said when he looked back over the ridge, he goes, "There was no way they went down that mountain." He said it had been sheer death for anything. The rocks would have cut them to pieces. And he said they dematerialized. He said, they went over that ridge. And as I stepped over the ridge to go right after them, I stopped and I looked down. I'm like, those rocks are just no way. It was jagged. But it was in like shelf steps. It was like usually jagged, flat rock, jagged, flat rock, flat rock. So I'm sure they had an entrance to something, because there's a lot of caves around there. And I'm sure
Absolutely.
they jumped down and aced one, but their movement, it was almost as deliberate and intentional. And these guys were not trying to hide, but they were big, like Sasquatch. I mean, they moved. And I've been trying to find a video that someone posted, and it was one where you hear a bunch of Iraqi guys talking, and you see this thing's eyes, and it's walking up like a a mountain or maybe a building that's over that has an angle to it, and you can see this thing in the dark. And the thing that stuck out to me the most was the things around the face were illuminated. And I said to my buddy, I said, "You see that? That looks like that thing that we saw." And you hear these Iraqi dudes talking, and it says they see a demonic entity. Well, it looked pretty close to what I'm telling you about what was in that video.
Oh my goodness. I have a few questions, and I know you really can't answer much. So I just want to clarify though. So you can't really say what you were doing over there or what year it was or anything like that, right? Over in Iraq.
Now I'll tell you this: I'm 56, and
Yep.
I am retired. But it was in the first of the Gulf War. It was right there in '91.
Gotcha. Wow. First off, thank you for your service regarding that. I know that was a tough one. I was very young when that happened. Um, what do you think it was that you encountered that day?
Well, I mean, I'm one of these people that tends to believe in Hollow Earth. I know a lot of people can't conceive that, but if it can go down in the earth, and we've got an installation named Fort Bragg that's several levels underneath ground, anything is possible. Is all I got to say. I think that what we're seeing is a humanoid type or a sapient type animal. It's a mixture of animal and human, man. That's what I believe. I believe that somewhere there's a crossover. And it went into its own species, and it's still producing today. Or maybe it's been here since day one, and it's sentient as we are. I have no idea.
And it had horns, which is such an
that was the
interesting
real
detail.
botherer, man. And I'm talking about, they were probably about the size of a little league softball bat. I'm talking, it was not big like the big boys, but they had some thickness to them. Like I said, it looked like a water buffalo, man. Like those big things out in like a wildebeest or a water buffalo. They got that curved horn that starts at the head and it shapes like a helmet and then turns up on the end. They were very short and very close knit, like he could really use them if he had to.
My goodness, do you think that we're still messing with those today?
I would definitely say, after I talked to the guys that were in Kandahar, and I've talked to that unit several different times about the giant Kandahar. I've talked to them guys, and I've met Sean Ryan and a couple other ones. Our feelings on that are exactly that it's there. They knew it. They knew it ahead of time. Because there's no way in the world they're going to have an encounter with something like that. And then once they drop it, the black trucks and helicopters show up, man, they knew that thing was there.
So that's a lot to just drop right there. So you're saying that you've talked to the individuals that were in the unit that had the experience with the Kandahar giant?
Yes, I've talked to one of the men in that unit, yes.
Do you mind sharing what you were told by them regarding what happened?
I know pretty much what everyone else knows.
Okay.
He may have told me a few little on-site things, like, maybe temperature and stuff like that, or, a few things that happened that were very, let's just say, the response from the higher up was unbelievable and very quick. As if they were watching the whole thing, and that's about as far as I'm going to go with it. Like the whole encounter, I believe, was being observed.
Absolutely. That is intense. You saying you also met Sean Ryan as well?
Yes, I've been in the same room with the man. Got to shake my hands with him, get my picture made with him. He's a great dude, and a lot of us, that have been joint special operations or anything like that, have all got to meet and talk at some point in time. And we've all got some horror stories to tell, man. There's some of them, like I said, I wish I could talk, but I can't.
No, I totally understand. I'm just glad you were able to share what you shared today, and thank you for coming up and for sharing that. And
Absolutely.
If you ever want to reach out again, my email is bigfootsociety@gmail.com. But
I've got that down already. I've liked and followed. I support the page, man. So definitely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for coming up and for sharing, sir. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. I hope it helps. And to
Yes, sir.
everybody out there that has experience, go ahead and let them be comfortable in teasing, because you know what? The truth's coming, y'all, and it's going to turn like a light switch. And when everybody finds out what's really going on, them people that tease us are the ones that are going to fall apart. We're expecting it.
Yes, sir. 100%. 100%. Well, thank you
Y'all
so
have a
much.
blessed evening, man.
Have a good one, sir.
All right, bye.
I was not expecting that, and there we are. That was incredible. Thank you, Hammer.
Thanks for listening to the Bigfoot Society podcast. The things you heard today are intense, unscripted, and from all corners of the world. Hope you enjoyed, and if you have your own story to share, please reach out to me. Email bigfootsociety@gmail.com. Your story might be the one that is able to help someone else work through their traumatic events that they've experienced as a part of this subject. If you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, please make sure you're following the show there and leave us a 5-star positive review, as it does help other people find us through the algorithm. And thank you again for listening to the Bigfoot Society podcast. Until next time, keep your eyes open, trust your gut, and never stop asking what else might be out there, and see you in the woods.